All right, so I'll start again. My name is Mr. Apollo Puntar, and we are from Canadian Immigration Consultancy, and we are more known as Gateway to Canada. As I've said earlier, the objective of this webinar is basically to provide you information about different pathways on how to immigrate to Canada. There are more than 60 pathways to immigrate to Canada, but through this webinar, we will try to simplify those pathways. We will talk more about the major immigration pathways, the one which is realistically applicable for those who are currently outside Canada. There are many pathways to become a permanent resident in Canada, but some of them are applicable only if you are already in Canada, either as a temporary resident, student, or a worker. All right. So a little bit more about our company. We are an immigration consulting firm, and our clients are represented by a registered Canadian immigration consultant, Ms. Christina Camarce. You can verify the registration number through the ICCRC website. I need to clarify, we are not a recruitment agency. So for those of you thinking that we could help you find employer in Canada, unfortunately, we cannot and will not do that. We are not registered with POEA, so doing that would tantamount to illegal recruitment. So we don't do that. What we do is basically we provide assistance for all types of visa application going to Canada, from visitor's visa, work visa, study visa, immigrant visa, regardless of which programs. So we do that. And we've been doing this for over 30 years already. We started our operation in Taipei, Taiwan, 1989. Philippine operation started 1993. Right now, we have offices in almost all key cities in the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. But with today's new normal, actually, you don't need to visit the office just to process the application. Since March, actually, when the Philippines, or mostly Metro Manila and Luzon, were put into lockdown, our office was closed. We recently opened November 23, but from March to November, we continue processing visa applications. All our staff or team members are working from home. So you don't really need to visit the office just to process the application. Everything can be done online. Even the visa application. The visa office in Manila actually stopped accepting applications via paper application. Everything is now done online. So you don't really need to travel to our office. But our office headquarters is located in Alabang, Muntinlupa City. Our office is in a Civic Prime building. Harap lang ito ng Festival Mall, so may landmark area. So our office is there. No? But again, you don't really need to visit the office, right? Now, with our over 30 years of experience doing immigration processing, what we've learned is that uh, the reason why most Filipinos immigrate to Canada is because they want to solve a problem, right? And this problem, iba't iba yung presentation, no? Iba't iba yung sagot. Because when we ask clients what is the purpose of their plan to, what is their purpose in immigrating to Canada, the common answer we receive is that they do this for greener pasture, whatever that means for them. Some others, they are looking for a better paying job. Some others, they are just being encouraged by their relatives who are already enjoying equality life in Canada. But from our experience, these various problems that our applicants face were related to financial problems, right? And in over 30 years, we have already helped over 60,000 Filipino families solve their financial problems by immigrating to Canada. You see, to us, it is not just simply visa processing. To us, immigrating to Canada means an opportunity for you and your family to have a quality life. Immigrating to Canada is all about safety nets, right? And kung hindi pa malino sa iyo yung concept ng safety nets right now, perhaps you'll be enlightened if you will think about what is currently happening worldwide. No? this COVID-19 pandemic that is spreading around the world has exposed serious financial problems for families worldwide. Hindi lang naman mga Filipinos yung affected ng COVID-19. Even those who are in advanced countries like Canada, they were also affected. The main difference, however, is those living in advanced countries like Canada, they enjoy government safety nets. They've got the benefits to cover them. Like for example, ang mga Filipino workers na nawalan ng trabaho dito sa Philippines, they receive what? 5,000 pesos subsidy, no? Yun yung ayuda na doon sa mga nawalan ng trabaho. Hindi pa lahat nakatanggap niyan, no? So, i-compare niyo yan doon sa Canada. Mga workers sa Canada na nawalan ng trabaho dahil sa pandemic, simula nung March hanggang July, they actually receive 500 Canadian dollars per week as a subsidy, right? Nawala ka ng trabaho sa Canada, whether you are a temporary foreign worker or permanent resident or citizen, makakatanggap ka ng 500 Canadian dollars or 2,000 Canadian dollars per month, right? And yung mga businesses doon sa Canada, yung mga small businesses, yung salaries, 75% ng wages ng mga maliliit na businesses, they are shouldered, subsidized by Canadian government para matulungan yung mga businesses na hindi magsara. No? And kung na-infect ka ng virus, hindi rin siya ganun ka-problem dahil they are covered by universal healthcare system. Hindi nila problema yung pambayad sa testing, sa medication, sa confinement, hospitalization, which is the exact opposite dito. No? Few months ago, merong news article na about a family na nagkaroon ng isang member nila, nagkaroon ng na-infect ng virus, umabot yung hospital bills nila ng more than 1 million. And unfortunately, hindi naman yan covered lahat ng PhilHealth, which until right now, hindi natin alam kung may pondo pa ba yung PhilHealth because of the rumored corruption dun sa PhilHealth. No? So, ito yung nakakalungkot na difference between Canada and Philippines. No? Kaya yung mga clients namin who are already enjoying a quality life in Canada, they are very thankful na nung dumating yung pandemic, they are already in Canada, they are already covered. Hindi nila pinoproblema yung mga common problems na pinoproblema ng mga Filipinos na nandito pa. No? And if you think about it, the longer you delay your decision to immigrate or the longer you delay your decision to do something to change your situation, the more you are losing income opportunity-wise. Now, let me show you this lost income calculator. Let's do some assumptions. If you are single, let's say working in the Philippines and you're earning, let's say more than minimum wage, you're earning 25,000. If we convert that into US currency, that is around $500 US. Now, on the other hand, if you are working in Canada on a minimum wage, let's say $14 per hour. Minimum wage in Canada is determined by provincial government. So, iba't ibang province, iba't iba ang minimum wage. No? Let's assume that you're working on a minimum wage of $14 per hour, working full-time, 40 hours per week. Your monthly income in US currency would be around $1,680 US. So, dito pa lang, meron ka ng lost income na around $1,180 US. Why lost income, you might ask? Simply because kung nasa Canada ka sana, your monthly income should have been $1,680. Pero dahil sa Philippines ka nagtatrabaho, $500 US lang. So may nawawala sa yung monthly na 59,000 pesos. Multiply that by 12, your lost income opportunity in 1 year is around 700,000. Multiply that by 5, that's around 3.5 million pesos. And in 10 years' time, your lost income opportunity is around 7 million pesos. And this is very conservative. We're talking about minimum wage, right? Of course, you might argue, yes, maganda yung income opportunity sa Canada, pero mas mataas naman yung cost of living. Yeah, it is true. Cost of living in Canada is definitely higher compared sa Philippines. But that is like comparing apple to an orange. If you're going to compare the cost of living in Canada versus against other first world countries, you'll be very sure to find that relatively mas mababa yung cost of living sa Canada. But okay, patulan natin na mataas talaga yung cost of living sa Canada. dito sa lost income calculator, we haven't even factored in the social benefits that you and your family will be entitled to once you become a permanent resident in Canada. And these are basically the reasons bakit maraming gustong mag-migrate sa Canada. Free healthcare. From minor headache to major surgery, it's not going to be a problem. No? Absolutely free. And of course, hindi lahat. No? For example, gusto mong medyo pabawas ng taba or something like that. So which is not necessary naman. Hindi siya covered. But kahit yung mga critical na operations na kailangan dahil sa medical condition, that is absolutely covered. Perhaps the best example, kung may mga working moms dito, magugustuhan nyo ito, no? Yung maternity benefits. Sa Philippines, sa mga major cities, sa mga private hospitals, magkano ba yung panganganak? It could be an average of 50,000 pesos. Kung cesarean operation pa yan, it could be doubled. No? Minimum siguro niyan, 100,000 kung cesarean. Now, sa Canada, whether it's normal delivery or cesarean operation, it's absolutely free. Wala kayong babayaran dun sa hospitalization. And kung dito, working moms are allowed 2 to 3 months maternity leave. In Canada, your combined maternity and parental leave, pwede siyang umabot ng 1 year. It's 1 year. Without worry na baka hindi ka natanggapin ng employer mo. Right? So, during that period na nakabakasyon ka, meron ka pang subsidy. No? While on vacation, you have at least 55% subsidy of your monthly pay. 55% of your monthly pay. So, libre yung panganganak mo, 1 year ka nakabakasyon, meron ka pang subsidy. Here's more. Yung bata, from birth until they reach 18 years old, they are going to receive allowance from the Canadian government through child tax benefits. On the average, that would be around $500 per month per kid until they reach 18 years old. So, annually, your income will be evaluated. Kapag medyo mataas na yung income nyo doon sa bracket, there's a bracket. Pag mataas na yung bracket ninyo, mababa na yung subsidy. Pero pag mababa yung income bracket nyo, mataas yung monthly subsidy. On the average, that is around $500 per month per kid. Pero hindi siya fixed. No? So, subject yan sa maraming factors like yung annual income ng parents, yung edad ng bata, among other things. No? So, kung dito, tayong mga magulang, kailangan nating mag-allocate ng budget para sa gatas, vitamins, diaper, and other necessities sa pagpapalaki ng bata. Sa Canada, may provision dyan ng Canadian government. Right? Income opportunity is pretty explainable. Na-tackle na natin to dun sa lost income calculator. So definitely, there are better income opportunities in Canada. But equally important is the retirement pay, right? So this is the main difference between going to other countries to work as a contract worker. Marami tayong mga Filipinos. I'm sure, kung wala tayong kamag-anak, meron tayong kaibigan or kakilala o kapitbahay na overseas contract workers. Ganyan kadami yung bilang ng mga Filipino workers na nagtatrabaho abroad as a contract worker. But unfortunately for those who will work abroad as a contract worker instead of immigrating to Canada, yung mga overseas contract workers, wala naman silang retirement pay. Let's say you work in Saudi for 20 years. At the end of your 20-year employment stint, wala ka namang retirement pay. What you will receive is the minimal separation pay in which a year or two maaring maubos din kaagad. Right? So, chances are, pagdating mo ng Pilipinas, hindi ka na employable or kung pwede ka magtrabaho, maliit yung sweldo, parang ayaw mo na. No? Kaya lang, may needs pa rin yung family na kailangang ma-address, which is basically the reason bakit ka nag-abroad in the first place. Pero dahil hindi nga na-address yung problem, may needs pa rin yung family. Kaya chances are, kung meron kang anak na pwede na rin mag-abroad, siya naman yung ipagtutulakan mo na magtrabaho abroad kasi may needs pa yung family na kailangang ma-address. Such is the never-ending vicious cycle ng buhay ng mga overseas contract workers. No? Tatrabaho, pagdating dito, after 20 years, walang comprehensive na retirement pay. Actually, hindi lang siya exclusive sa mga overseas contract workers. Maraming mga magulang ang nag-retire nang wala talagang comprehensive retirement pay. Okay? In fact, admit it or not, pag sinabi nating retired, kadalasan ang ibig sabihin niyan talaga is unemployed dahil wala ng income. And most often than not, ang nagiging retirement plan ng mga magulang ay yung mga anak. But don't get me wrong here, no? Hindi masama na magbigay ng support ang mga anak sa kanilang mga magulang, lalo pa nga at kung wala naman talaga silang income na or savings to support their retirement years. So nothing's wrong with that. But the question is this, gusto niyo ba na kapag nag-retire kayo ay nakadepende lang din kayo sa income ng inyong mga anak? Right? So, I don't think gugustuhin nyo na ganun yung situation. Palagay ko, mas gusto nyo na mag-retire kayo that you are still able to support yourself during your retirement years. And this is what is being promised by immigrating to Canada. Again, let me emphasize this. Hindi kailangan naman na, I'm not saying na the only reason or the only way para magkaroon ka ng quality life, para magkaroon ka ng safety net is by immigrating to Canada. I'm not saying that. But if at this point, wala ka pa talagang concrete plan kung paano ka magkakaroon ng safety nets, kung paano mo mabibigyan ng quality life ang iyong pamilya, immigrating to Canada is a plan that work for thousands of our clients who are now enjoying a quality life in Canada. But if you think kaya mong maibigay itong ganitong quality life sa iyong family without immigrating to Canada, then go ahead. No? I'm just saying that for those of you na wala pang concrete plan kung paano magkakaroon ng quality life, you may want to consider immigration to Canada as a plan. For what it's worth, wala pa naman po kaming kliyente na umuwi dito para i-regret yung decision. Kadalasan, kino-contact nila kami para tulungan din yung mga kamag-anak nila na makasunod doon sila sa Canada. So this is what is being promised by immigration to Canada. This is why we say that immigration to Canada is not just about visa, it's about having a quality life. And most likely at this point, gusto nyo ito, no? Palagay ko po kasi, walang nasa matinong pag-iisip ang tatanggi sa ganitong benefits. Right? So your question might be, okay, gusto ko yan Apple, pero paano ba mag-apply? Alright? So doon tayo pupunta ngayon sa susunod na slides. If the question is how to apply, simple lang. Information about visa application is actually available for free by visiting Canada's official government website. That is canada.ca. Nandiyan dyan lahat ng information from different programs, list of requirements, process, cost, application forms, you'll find that there for free. Hindi mandatory, it is not mandatory to hire the services of an immigration lawyer or immigration consultant like us, right? There's not even a guarantee that if you hire one, na ma-approve yung application mo. No, there's no guarantee. So, ano yung difference ngayon kung dadaan kayo sa mga consulting firms, yung experience, no? Kasi hindi lahat ng makikita niyo po sa Facebook ay authorized to represent you. Kung mag-hire kayo ng services para mag-assist sa inyo sa immigration application, be very sure that they are authorized. In order to be an authorized representative, either meron silang lawyer or registered immigration consultant. Right? So, ano yung difference kung i-hire nyo kami instead na mag-apply kayo on your own? If you have time, willing kayo mag-invest ng effort to research, read, analyze, then you can do this on your own. If you can confidently do that, then go ahead. No? But if you think you need assistance, then that's the only time that you consider hiring a representative. So ano yung difference if you hire us? Simple lang. If this will be your first time to do this, you are more susceptible to common mistakes. Mistakes that may cause a delay or worst, refusal, visa refusal, right? So the advantage you have if you hire us is that you can bank on our experience. We have over 30 years of industry experience that you can bank on. Those common mistakes na pwede niyong pagdaanan, we've already experienced that. So we can help you by avoiding those common mistakes through proper documentation. Definitely, we cannot guarantee approval of the application. The most that we can do is help you increase your chances of approval through proper documentation. But let me emphasize again, it is not mandatory to hire the services of an immigration consulting firm. Madalas na matanggap kong tanong is that every time I explain how to apply, they are curious as to why I am emphasizing the option to apply directly without hiring a representative. The common question, what if dumiretso yung mga kausap mo? Wala naman pong problema. No? Ang trabaho namin is to provide you enough information para makabuo kayo ng informed decision. It is because we respect our clients. Right? If you feel na kaya nyo siyang gawin mag-isa, then go ahead. No? If you feel kailangan nyo ng assistance, then you hire us. Right? We do this, we give you that option because we are confident in the value, in the service that we offer. No? So help is available. Why take a risk? Most of you who are here right now, you've already done the online assessment. So at this point, you already knew kung saang pathway kayo applicable. But of course, dahil this could be first time na process sa inyo, marami kayong mga questions. So at this point, let me explain yung mga major pathways paano kayo magiging permanent resident sa Canada. Let's start with the Express Entry application. Alright? Yung Express Entry is not actually a program. This is the system being used to manage federal immigration programs like Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades, Canadian Experience Class, and some parts ng Provincial Nominee Program stream. So this is basically a ranking system. So submit ka ng application online, that will be your expression of interest. So tatanungin ka about your profile, ilang taong ka na, what's your education, work experience, connection sa Canada, etc. And then if you met the criteria, you will be included in the pool of qualified applicants. And then from there, monthly, pipili sila. No? There will be a comprehensive ranking system. And then monthly, pipili sila ng matataas yung score. If you get selected, then in 6 months or less, meron ka ng visa. So mabilis siya. Ang indefinite, however, is when are you gonna be selected from the express entry pool? Right? So in order for you to have a fighting chance, kung ikaw ay nasa labas ng Canada, meaning hindi ka nag-aaral sa Canada, wala kang job offer sa Canada, wala kang Canadian work experience, in order for you to have a fighting chance sa express entry, dapat ito yung profile mo. You're not more than 30 years old, you completed a bachelor degree, may kapatid ka sa Canada, you have 3 years of eligible experience, and you have an advanced level sa IELTS examination. For those of you who are not yet familiar with IELTS, this is basically English language test, right? So your proficiency in listening, writing, reading, speaking will be evaluated. Yung score niya na ideal, mataas is 9. No? Ang minimum requirement para mag-qualified ka sa express entry, dapat wala kang mababa sa 6. Right? But because this is ranking system, hindi ka dapat makontento sa 6 lang. Kasi you will be competing with other applicants na mas matataas yung score. So the ideal score sa IELTS general training is 8 sa listening and 7 sa writing, reading, and speaking. Yun yung advanced level. Right? So dapat lahat ito pasok sa'yo. Isa dito ang wala, forget about express entry. Madaling makapasok sa express entry pool. It's very easy to enter the express entry pool. But if this is not your profile, there's a great chance that you will be waiting indefinitely. So if this is not your profile, forget about express entry. There are other pathways anyway. Like Atlantic Immigration Pilot, right? Medyo careful lang tayo dito. Maraming mga ads sa Facebook nag-o-offer ng Atlantic Immigration Pilot. In order for you to qualify under this program, ang primary requirement is job offer. Alright? Kung wala kang job offer, hindi ka mag-qualify dyan. And medyo mag-ingat tayo sa mga immigration consulting firm who will charge you para hanapan ka ng trabaho. Kung Philippine-based company yan, that is illegal recruitment. So dapat kung nag-o-offer sila ng job placement, dapat registered sila sa TOEA. Otherwise, that is illegal recruitment. Kung ang company naman na nag-o-offer para hanapan ka ng trabaho ay hindi based sa Philippines, alright, so hindi siya illegal recruitment as far as the Philippines is concerned. However, kung ang premise ay mahanapan ka ng trabaho, magbabayad ka ng 100,000 para hanapan ka ng trabaho, is that guaranteed? What if hindi ka mahanapan ng trabaho? Pag hindi ka nahanapan ng trabaho, then walang basis para mag-apply ka sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Hindi mo kailangan ng mga agencies para maghanap ng trabaho for this purpose. Kaya lang, magsasara na itong pilot program soon. Most likely, i-renew naman ito. Pero just the same, kung ang question is, paano makahanap ng employer through Atlantic Immigration Pilot? Punta lang kayo sa canada.ca, search nyo lang, Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Meron kayong makikita diyang link, no? A link to the list of accredited employers sa Atlantic Immigration Program. Pag nakita nyo na yung list ng mga employers na yon, check their websites, padala ka ng email application. Pag natanggap ka, then you can then apply sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot. You can go direct doon sa mga employers. Right? So padala ka lang ng application doon sa mga Canadian. Idiretsa mo na. Hindi mo kailangan ng agency para hanapan ka ng employer. You can do that on your own. Ang kailangan lang, alam mo kung ano yung hinahanap mo. So hanapin mo yung list of accredited employers sa Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Check their website. Hanapin mo yung HR. Padala ka ng application. Padala mo yung resume. Numbers game, no? Mas marami kang employers na padala, mas malaki yung chance na mayroong mag-hire sa'yo. Alright? Pag may job offer ka na at nakatapos ka at least grade 12, may 3 years experience, medyo mababa yung IELTS requirement, then there is now a basis para mag-apply ka ng Atlantic Immigration Pilot. At that point, pwede kang mag-apply on your own or mag-hire ka rin ng consulting firm for the visa. Kasi having a job offer is not a guarantee that you will be issued visa. So kailangan tama pa rin yung documentation mo, tama yung presentation mo. Alright? That's Atlantic Immigration Pilot. Another pathway would be the Provincial Nominee Program. Simple lang to. Kailangan mo lang ay nakatapos ka ng at least grade 12, not more than 45 years old, although yung ibang province walang age limit, and then meron kang isa sa tatlong factors na ito. Meron kang kamag-anak sa province ng Manitoba or New Brunswick. Pwede silang mag-endorse ng application mo para maging permanent resident ka. Pero may mga specific requirements pa rin yan. Hindi automatic na may kamag-anak ka sa Manitoba ay pwede na. So dapat ma-meet mo pa rin yung mga education, work experience requirement, etc. Wala kang kamag-anak, para mag-qualified ka sa Provincial Nominee Program, kailangan mo ng employer. Again, hanap ka ng employer, padala ka ng email applications. Kapag meron ka na, then possibly apply ka sa Provincial Nominee Program. Or, as an international student graduate, meaning nag-aral ka sa Canada ng at least 1 year, alright? May chance ka na mag-apply sa Provincial Nominee Program. Regardless kung saang province ka nag-aral, meron at merong potential yan for Provincial Nominee Program. Right now, actually, the easiest and fastest way para makapag-migrate kayo sa Canada is through student visa. And Canadian government is basically very aggressive sila sa pag-promote ng student visa. No? At this point, let me show you a video. This is actually a video created by Immigration Canada itself to promote yung study visa as a pathway to become a permanent resident sa Canada. Let's watch this and then later I'll explain the details.
You may have heard of Canadians' friendly and open nature. The United Nations consistently ranks Canada as one of the best places in the world to live. But did you know it's also one of the best places to study? Match your interests with schools and programs in Canada that deliver exciting academic, social, and cultural experiences. You can apply for a study permit as soon as you've been accepted to a Canadian college, university, or other designated learning institution. Check and see if the program you plan to take will make you eligible for a post-graduation work permit. You may also want to see what the Canadian workplace has to offer. Most international students are allowed to work on and off campus jobs, have internships, and do co-op placements. You and your spouse or partner can gain valuable experience in the Canadian workforce. Should you need some extra time to complete your studies, decide to enroll in a second program, or just need a new visa to go home for a visit, the Government of Canada also has options to help you extend your stay. The post-graduation work permit is the top choice for international students who want to work after they study. With a post-graduation work permit, you'll be able to work for up to 3 years in Canada for almost any employer. If you aren't eligible for the post-graduation work permit, you may be eligible for other options that allow you and your spouse or partner to work in Canada on a temporary basis after you graduate. Be sure to check out canada.ca/international students to find out when to apply for the post-graduation work permit. Wouldn't it be nice to apply all of your Canadian educational credentials and work experience to pursuing a career and building a life in Canada? Express Entry, the Provincial Nominee Program, or the Atlantic Immigration Pilot can be your path to permanent residency. And the time you spend in Canada as a student or temporary worker counts towards eventually applying to become a Canadian citizen. After all this, maybe you too can become Canadian, eh? To discover your options, visit canada.ca/international students.
So there, right? Sandali lang po. Right. So that video is actually from Government of Canada. Sila yung gumawa nun to promote the student visa pathways. You will see that they are very aggressive in promoting the student visa as a pathway to become a permanent resident and even citizenship. So basically, here's how it works. You need to study for at least 1 year. And during that 1 year period, you are already allowed to work part-time. Pero 20 hours lang siya per week. You can work full-time during school breaks, all right? While studying, you can work part-time. During school breaks, you can work full-time. Your part-time income, 20 hours per week, is not enough to cover your tuition, of course, but it could be enough to pay for your daily expenses, right? Meron kang asawa at anak, gusto mong isama, pwede, no? Your spouse may work full-time. And your school-age kids, pwede silang mag-aral ng libre from kinder hanggang grade 12. This is why we call this golden visa. Imagine, mag-aaral ka lang sa Canada, pwede ka nang magtrabaho, yung asawa mo pwedeng magtrabaho full-time, at kung meron kang anak, libre pa yung education nila hanggang grade 12. Right? Now, pagka-graduate mo, pwede kang magtrabaho full-time for a period equivalent to sa length of your studies. If you studied for 1 year, meron kang additional 1 year to work full-time. If you studied for 2 years, yun yung ideal, 2 years dapat. If you studied for 2 years, pwede kang mabigyan ng up to 3 years na open work permit. Okay? So how do you transition into becoming a permanent resident from study visa? Okay, pagka-graduate mo, meron kang Canadian Education Credentials. Sa Express Entry System, malaki yung points nun. Right? And then meron kang 3 years na open work permit. Gagamitin mo yun ngayon para mag-gain ng 1 year Canadian experience. So maghanap ka ng permanent and full-time employment. Pag na-meet mo na yung requirements, then pwede ka nang mag-apply ng permanent residence. Right? Ang isang scenario na pwedeng mangyari is that kung mag-asawa kayong pupunta sa Canada, nag-aaral yung isa ay magtatrabaho. So yung may open work permit, kapag na-meet niya na yung permanent resident visa requirement, any program, pwede na siyang mag-process ng PR application habang nag-aaral pa lang yung kanyang spouse. Right? In fact, kadalasan nagiging permanent resident yung mga study visa holders na may kasamang spouse dahil dun sa spouse. Right? Ang visa processing ng student visa is only 2 months. In fact, kung babayaran mo ng buo yung 1 year tuition, mag-open ka ng account sa Canada, you'll take the IELTS, pwedeng 1 month lang yung processing through Study Direct Stream. No? Mabilis lang. Ang start ng school is usually January, May, and September. Obviously, hindi ka na aabot ng January, pero kung mabilis ka, pwede ka pang umabot ng May, pero sakto ka lang kung September. That is kung magsisimula ka kaagad. Alright? So, September yung ideal na start ng class kung ngayon ka pa lang magsisimula. Alright? Ang main investment lang dito talaga sa student visa is yung funds, no? Pero before we talk about funds, let me emphasize this muna, no? This is very important. Studying in Canada is not a guarantee that you will become a permanent resident. Hindi siya automatic. Kaya mahalaga yung magiging decision mo kung anong program yung kukunin, anong school, saang city, anong province. Lahat ito may kinalaman dun sa pagiging permanent resident mo. Iba't ibang province, iba't iba yung immigration programs. So dapat pipili ka ng province, pipili ka ng school, pipili ka ng program na ideal para sa'yo. Right? Again, hindi required na mag-hire ng mga consulting firms para sa visa application. Pero kung ang plano mo ay mag-migrate sa Canada through the student visa pathway, pakatandaan po ninyo, hindi siya guaranteed. Hindi siya automatic. Right? Kaya nga po, kung ang goal ninyo is maging permanent resident, huwag kayong mag-settle na ang magpa-process ng visa ninyo is yung education agent lang. No? We are more than an education agent. We are an immigration consulting firm. Why I emphasize on this is because an education agent may be able to connect you with the school, right? But they are not in the position to guide you with your immigration plan. Kadalasan ng mga education agent, they will assist you kapag doon lang sa school na partner nila, right? Kasi they're just an education agent. On the other hand, kami naman, as an experienced immigration consulting firm, it doesn't matter kung saan school nyo gusto. Tatanungin namin kayo kung saan nyo gusto, saang province, saang school, saang city, anong program. From there, hahanapan namin kayo ng options. Kung meron kayong specific school na gusto, partner or not partner, we will do that. Kasi ang goal namin is maging permanent resident po kayo. So, i-guide namin kayo. Alright? Now, again, let me emphasize this. Studying in Canada is not a guarantee that you will become a permanent resident. So dapat maayos yung pagplano mo mula sa pagpili ng school, ng program, ng city, ng province. Alright? Now, pag-usapan natin yung cost. In applying for a study visa, one of the major requirements is for you to be able to convince the visa officer that you have the financial capacity. What it means is that you must be able to provide proof that you have the funds to cover for at least 1 year tuition and 1 year living expenses. 1 year tuition on the average is around 15,000 Canadian dollars or around 600,000 pesos. May mga schools na 10,000 lang yung 1 year tuition. Meron namang mga universities na pwedeng umabot hanggang 25,000. But on the average, sa mga major cities, mga public colleges, around 600,000 pesos yung 1 year tuition. Now, the living expenses would be around 10,000 Canadian dollars. This amount is imposed by Canadian government. Supposedly, this 10,000 Canadian dollars will pretty much cover your 1 year accommodation cost, food, transportation, and other incidental expenses during your stay sa Canada. Converted at 40, that's around 400,000 pesos. Kung mag-isa ka lang. Right? Pero kung kasama mo yung spouse, yung living expenses allowance mo, dapat dagdagan mo ng 4,000. Kung may kasama kang kids, additional 3,000 each. Meaning, kung meron kang 2 kids, isang asawa, at ikaw, 4 kayo, ang living expenses allowance mo would be around 20,000. 6,000 for the 2 kids, 4,000 for the spouse, that's 10 plus another 10, that's 20,000. But if you're single, it's only 10,000 Canadian dollars. Meaning, if you're single, you need to show proof that you have at least 1 million pesos. How do you provide proof that you have the financial capacity? May dalawang paraan. First, you may submit bank certificates. The bank certificates could be under your name or under the name of your sponsors. All right? Your sponsors could be your parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, lolo't lola, or any other relative, no? Regardless kung nasa Canada sila, US, Philippines, o kung saan man. No? Ang mahalaga is that mag-provide sila ng letter of support with attached proof of their financial capacity. So dun sa letter, naka-indicate kung magkano yung ibibigay nilang support. Alright? For example, grade 12 graduate ka, mag-aaral ka ng college, so hindi naman expected na meron ka ng sariling funds kaagad. No? So the best way, however, to convince the visa officer that you have the funds is bayaran mo na in advance yung 1-year tuition. Typically, the school would require a tuition deposit para mabigyan ka ng letter of acceptance. Yung amount niyan varies, ranges from 1,000 to 8,000 deposit. Right? That would be enough to get the letter of acceptance. Pero, we highly suggest that you pay the tuition in advance. Bayaran nyo na kagad. Siyempre, ang question nyo is, what if my visa is refused? Refundable naman yung tuition. Right? So, not a problem. Now, the 10,000 Canadian dollars na living expenses allowance, you have the option to open an account sa Canada through Guaranteed Investment Certificate Program. So there's a program for international students wherein you can already send your funds to a Canadian bank account under your name. And if you do that, tumataas yung chances ng approval. One of the common reasons bakit nare-refuse yung application is because of being unable to convince, the inability to convince the visa officer that you have the funds. Now, kung bayad mo na yung 1-year tuition, kung may pera ka na sa Canada, pagdududahan ka ba kung may pera ka? No, kasi bayad mo na nga. No? So, it doesn't guarantee approval, but definitely, it will increase the chances of your approval. So, that's the cost of living cost of studying in Canada. Okay, so syempre, ang nasa isip nyo dito at this point is sobrang mahal pala. Actually, mahal talaga. No? Kailangan talaga ng malaking investment. Hindi siya mura. No? However, let me show you this income and expense summary pagdating nyo sa Canada. You will realize na malaki nga yung investment pero sobrang bilis nyo pala siya marirecover. No? Okay, let's do some assumptions. Kung mag-asawa kayo na pupunta sa Canada and then yung student ay magtatrabaho 20 hours per week, let's say $14 per hour minimum rate. No? And then yung spouse ay magtatrabaho full-time, let's say 40 hours a week, at a $14 per hour rate then. Let's assume further na yung inuupahan yung room is around 1,000 Canadian dollars. Of course, that's the average. No? Medyo, yung ibang location mas mataas, yung iba mas mababa. No? Monthly food expenses could be around $250. Transportation could be around $200. All right, let's summarize. Your combined income monthly, based on these premises, would be around 3,200 Canadian dollars. Ibawas na natin yung taxes, ibawas na natin yung living expenses, meron ka pang savings monthly na 1,000 Canadian dollars. Something like 43,000. In 1 year time, meron kang $500,000 na savings. So dito, lumalabas, yung baon nyo na 14,000 Canadian dollars na living expenses allowance, halos hindi nyo siya magagalaw. Dahil yung expenses ninyo, for their daily expenses, kasama na yung accommodation, pwedeng kunin doon sa income nyo sa Canada. And this is very conservative. Ang pinactor in lang natin dito is yung part-time work ng student. Remember, pwede siyang magtrabaho full-time during school breaks, which is up to 3 months. And yung spouse, hindi naman limited lang din yan sa $14 per hour. And pwede siyang magtrabaho more than 40 hours. So, as you will see, makapasok ka lang sa Canada, mabilis mo siyang ma-recover. No? And meron ka pang chance na maging permanent resident. Kasi if you think about it, dito ba nakakapag-save kayo ng at least 1,000 Canadian dollars or 40,000 monthly? Right? Sa Canada, you can. Right? So, yun yung kagandahan sa income opportunity. Siyempre, ang challenge is paano ka makapasok sa Canada. So, dito, mag-decide kayo kung gusto nyo ba talagang mag-migrate sa Canada. Ito yung mga options. Right? It is not free. It is not cheap. No? Kailangan nyo ng investment. Pero, as you will see, it's worth it. Madali nyo siyang mababawi. Okay, nasa last part na tayo ng presentations, mga last few slides na lang ito. Kung may mga questions po kayo, there is a Q&A box. I think sa baba ng screen niyo may Q&A box diyan. You can use that to post your questions and sasagutin ko po yan after my presentation. But before that, let me just share with you some of our clients who went to Canada on a student visa and naging permanent resident na. No? Ang favorite example ko actually si Ms. Dana May Rodriguez. Initially, nag-apply sila under Express Entry noong 2015. Kaya start pa lang ng Express Entry noong 2015. But because their profile is not ideal, hindi talaga sila na-select kaagad. No? So when they ask about other pathways para mabilis makapuntang sa Canada, so we offered yung student visa. So, in 2016, na-approve yung student visa application nila. Si Miss Dana yung nag-aral. Si Sir RJ, yung husband niya, ay may open work permit. Yung anak nila ay meron ding study permit. No? Permanent resident na sila noong 2019. Naging permanent resident sila dahil kay Sir RJ. Habang nag-aaral si Miss Dana, si Sir RJ naka-gain ng Canadian work experience which made them eligible para maging permanent resident. So, they become permanent resident. They're both registered nurses. So, pinaprocess na nila ngayon yung kanilang registration as nurse sa Canada. Right? So, this is the case of Miss Dana. Okay, this example next is actually very personal to me, no? Kasi Suzette is my wife. No? I'll tell you our story. Matagal na kaming involved sa immigration business, but we haven't really considered migrating to Canada simply because we thought, okay na kami dito, no? We don't need to immigrate. That's what we thought, no? Kasi we have that thought dahil nakakabisita naman kami sa Canada. Ilang beses na kaming nakapasyal sa Canada. Before we decided to migrate sa Canada, nakakapasyal naman kami sa Canada. Pag-spend ng holidays and all that. And so we thought na we don't need immigrating to Canada dahil na we thought okay na kami rito. Pero dahil meron kami kaibigan na maganda yung career dito, IT guy, no? Magandang company, pinapadala siya sa US and all that, ganda yung sweldo, and then nag-offer ng some sort of redundancy program, so nag-early retirement siya, nakakuha siya ng malaking cash. Unfortunately for that friend, in less than 2 years after early retirement niya, na-wipe out yung savings niya. Yung lahat ng pera niya naubos dahil nagkaroon siya ng matinding medical condition. To the point na pumupunta siya sa bahay ng mga kaibigan niya, sa amin, hihingi ng tulong, nabibigyan namin pa konti-konti. Pero yun nga, mula doon sa isang napakagandang career at malaking retirement, yung separation pay na nakuha niya, dahil lang sa isang medical condition, naubos yung pera niya, na-wipe out talaga. So, one time, I was driving, atid ko yung wife ko sa Accenture. My wife used to work with Accenture, associate manager na yung last rank niya dun sa Accenture. So, atid ko siya sa Cybergate. Sabi ko sa kanya is, Mami, what if isa sa atin magkaroon ng ganung condition? How prepared are we? What if kung mangyari yan ay kung kailan tayong retired na wala na tayong coverage? Kasi at that time, may coverage pa kami from the Accenture and then sa company ko. And what if, sabi ko, mangyari yan kung kailang retired na tayo? Baka maging burden tayo doon sa aming daughter. No? We have a daughter, 17-year-old. Medyo natakot kami. No? So sabi ng wife ko, anong gagawin natin? So sabi ko is, palagay ko kailangan natin mag-migrate. Right? Kasi yun yung nakikita kong magkakaroon kami ng safety nets talaga na kampante. Kaya lang, unfortunately for us, because of our age, kahit na may kapatid siya sa Canada, kahit na may rami kaming kamag-anak doon, hindi pa rin kami qualified sa direct immigration dahil nga more than 40 na kami. No? I think 42 na yung wife ko nung nag-decide kami na mag-aral siya sa Canada. So we decided na mag-migrate. No? And for us to migrate, kailangan mag-aral sa Canada ng wife ko. We decided na siya yung mag-aral. So naging game plan namin is that at that time kasi, gagraduate pa lang ng grade 10 yung daughter namin. So naging plano namin is siya lang muna yung mag-aaral sa Canada. And then susunod na lang kami ng daughter ko pagkatapos niya ng grade 10. Supposedly last April nasa Canada kami kaya lang nagkaroon ng lockdown. So na-delay yung travel. Now, nag-aral yung wife ko to 2019 sa Fanshawe College. Computer science graduate siya, kumuha siya ng diploma in business, na-approve yung study visa niya, and then nakagraduate siya noong April 2020. Medyo natuwa kami dahil graduate na, pero at the same time, kinabahan dahil pandemic, baka walang trabaho. Pero dahil masipag siyang magpadala ng application sa mga employers, na-hire siya kaagad, no? Less than 2 months. June 16, she was hired as college administrator ng Futures Canadian College, isang private career college sa Mississauga, Ontario. So nagtatrabaho na siya ngayon doon. Why I'm trying to tell you this is because people immigrate for different reasons. Kami, yun yung kwento namin. We thought hindi namin kailangan, but we soon later realized na kailangan pa rin pala namin. No? We are not that prepared. Who are we kidding? No? Sabi ko sa sarili nun. And then another reason why I'm telling you this is because one of the common questions ng mga prospective applicants is that pandemic, may trabaho pa ba? So, this is it. No? Nakagraduate siya during the pandemic, tapos nagkaroon siya ng trabaho in less than 2 months. Right? So, there are opportunities. Pero do not think na yung trabaho yung lalapit sa inyo. I'm telling you, when my wife completed their program, hanggang sa na-hire siya, nakapagpadala siya ng almost 800 job applications via email. Sinasaturate niya yung Ontario. Actually, nakaprepared siya na kapag wala pang nag-hire sa kanya, magpapadala na siya sa ibang provinces. So, what happened is that nung na-hire na siya, ang dami pang dumating na job offer kasi ang dami niyang interviews na napuntahan before siya na-hire. So yung mga ibang nag-interview sa kanya, late nagbigay ng job offer, but that's okay. Nagtatrabaho na naman siya. No? So yung sarili niyo yung tatanungin niyo rito. Bakit niyo ba gustong mag-migrate sa Canada? If you're saying na gusto niyo mag-migrate sa Canada because you want to give your family a quality life, what's stopping you? May alternative ka ba? Kung wala, then just do it. Whether you do this on your own or you hire services of a consulting firm, ang mahalaga, gawin mo yan kung yan yung gusto mo. Otherwise, 5 years from now, baka nandun ka pa rin sa question na yun, no? So wala ka pa rin plano. Alright? So, at this point, I am prepared to answer yung mga questions kung meron na po. You just really need to use yung Q&A box para sa mga questions po ninyo, and then isa-isahin ko po siyang sagutin. Kung ang question nyo po, by the way, ay magkano yung consultancy fee, ano yung mga costs, etc., visit nyo lang po yung link na nandiyan dyan sa screen, yung sign-up form. Fill out nyo lang po yan. Gusto nyo ba student visa lang or student visa with PR? Pipili po kayo kasi yung consultancy fee varies. No? So pag nag-fill out kayo sa form na ito, matatanggap nyo po via email yung mga details. Magkano yung babayaran, magkano yung visa fee, medical, biometrics, no? Things like that. Paano magbabayad. So matatanggap nyo po yun via email. Alright? If after this, may mga questions pa po kayo na hindi nasagot after our Q&A, pwede naman po kayong mag-book ng appointment through our website. Book lang po kayo, may mga assigned case managers po kayo. Hanapin nyo sila doon sa appointment page, then book kayo ng appointment. Pwede kayong mag-usap over the phone or Zoom or Skype, or pwede rin po kayong pumunta sa office. By appointment po kami sa office, strictly na po, no? By appointment. Alright? Alright, may mga questions po ba? Yung mga questions po, post na lang, pakigamit na lang po yung Q&A box. Alright? Alright, so there is a question from Miss Christine. Is it possible po na makahanap agad ng job yung spouse na may open work permit? And for the student naman na maghanap ng work agad for 20 hours? This is a very good question po, no? And this is a common question. Yung sa possibility na agad kayo makahanap ng trabaho, subjective kasi yun eh. Relative yan doon sa effort niyo po talaga. Masasabi ko lang po is that kung gugustuhin niyo pong makahanap ng trabaho, makakahanap po kayo. I'll tell you a story. Meron akong client, tumawag, nag-set ng appointment, so nag-usap kami via Zoom. Sabi niya, mahirap daw dun sa school na napuntahan niya, yung city na napuntahan niya dahil walang trabaho. So, sinagot ko siya na I find that rather weird dahil meron kaming client doon sa same school, nagtatanong kung pwede ba siyang lumampas ng 20 hours doon sa part-time. Kasi meron na siyang dalawang trabaho, meron pa sana siyang opportunity ng isa pa. So sabi ko doon sa nagsasabi na mahirap makahanap ng trabaho, I don't think nasa city yung problem. No? Kasi meron kaming client dyan na gusto pang sumobra sa 20 hours yung trabaho. So yung sa tanong po na madali bang makahanap or possible ba na makahanap agad ng trabaho ang spouse, depende po yan sa mindset, sa effort, kung hindi ba kayo mapili sa trabaho, madali lang po makahanap talaga ng trabaho. Pero kung depende doon sa mga parameters na iseset po ninyo, mahirap din po. Pwedeng maging mahirap. No? Yung student, pwede lang siyang mag-start magtrabaho kapag nag-start na yung class. Alright? Yung open work permit holder, as soon as mayroon siyang work permit, pwede na siyang mag-start ng trabaho. Pagdating doon sa Canada, pwede na siyang magtrabaho. Pero yung student, pwede lang siyang magtrabaho kapag nag-start na yung class. And 20 hours lang siya. Alright? Alright, so another question. Mas mabilis po ba ang approval rate if may relatives sa Canada? How can we use that as an advantage? Currently, I'm 25 and planning to study visa program. Pwede po ba na malapit sa kanila school? Okay. Miss April, walang kinalaman kung may kamag-anak or wala do sa processing time. Alright? So, standard yung processing time. Kung yung regular processing is 2 months, yung student direct stream is 1 month. Yung study direct stream, para mag-qualify ka dito, priority processing, dapat bayad mo yung 1-year tuition, dapat nag-open ka ng account sa Canada, at dapat may IELTS ka. IELTS is not mandatory sa student visa application. Alright? Primarily, requirement ito ng mga schools. Pero may mga schools na hindi nagre-require ng IELTS. Alright? Paano nyo mamamaximize yung kamag-anak sa Canada? Pwede bang doon sa malapit sa kanila? Definitely. Kung yung kamag-anak nyo po ay nag-o-offer na kupkupin kayo doon, magpapatira sa inyo na walang babayaran, by all means, maghanap tayo ng school na malapit po doon. Ang kailangan lang natin doon is letter from your relative stating those facts, no? Na tutulungan niya kayo, sagot niya yung accommodation, pwede niya ring ilagay doon kung magkano yung financial support na ibibigay niya kung meron. Alright, Ms. April? Kung may mga follow-up questions, kung hindi po nasagot yung tanong or malabo yung sagot, simply type follow-up questions, walang problema po. Nag-o-offer din po ba kayo ng temporary resident visa? Ms. Ruth, we process all types of visa going to Canada. Ang temporary resident visa, pwede po yung visitor, pwedeng worker, pwedeng student. Alright? Sa visitor, well, kailangan nyo lang ipakita dyan na yung legitimate yung purpose ninyo and then meron kayong ties sa home country nyo. Pwede lang kayong mag-apply ng work visa kung meron kayong job offer. So, hindi kami recruitment agency, hindi namin kayo matutulungan maghanap ng employer. Pero kung may employer na kayo, then we can help you with the work permit application. Student, of course, we provide assistance for student visa. All right, Ms. Ruth? Sir Alan Ibe. Hi, sir. Okay. I think kaka-start nilang po ng process, no? Anyway, student visa processing 1 to 2 months from the time na nag-submit po ang documents. Sa visa office, yes. Apa. 1 to 2 months yung processing upon submission ng application sa visa office. Hindi po sa amin. Alright? And if approved na po, pwede na po ba agad umalis 2 to 3 months before ng class? The earliest na pwede kayong umalis ay 3 months. Yun na po yung earliest. Huwag kayong aalis ng 5 months before yung class kasi hindi pa kayo mabibigyan ng permit doon sa port of entry. But practically speaking, as soon as may visa na po kayo, pwede po kayong umalis. Kunwari, May 22 ang start po, pwede bang March? Yeah, pwede pa. March, April, May, yeah. Basta 3 months before yung intake, pwede na po kayong bumiyahe. Pero, pagdating sa Canada, yung student, hindi pa po pwedeng magtrabaho. No? Pwede lang siyang magtrabaho kapag nag-start na yung class. May disadvantage yung pupunta kayo ng maaga. Alright? Number one, kung 3 months kayo, ibig sabihin, before mag-start yung class, 3 months na kayong nagbabayad ng accommodation kung magre-rent kayo. Another disadvantage is that yung insurance ng student, nagsisimula lang yan kapag nag-start na yung class. So kung 3 months kayong nandoon, wala kayong coverage doon sa 3 months na yon. So kailangan yung bumili ng insurance for 3 months. Pero as long as you are aware doon sa consequences, wala naman pong problema. Right, Sir Alan? Alright. From Chloe Pretz, Padernilia. Pwede po bang magkapatid? Nurse graduate po siya dito sa Philippines, 2 years working, and yung isa is business advert, 3 years working po. Oh, right. With the limited information that you provided, I would say student visa. Kung wala kayong kapatid sa Canada, then, at kung wala kayong employer, student visa. Pwede naman po kayong sabay mag-apply. Marami na kaming na-process na ganyan. Na magkapatid, sabay nag-apply. Meron pa nga kami, mag-ina. Student yung ina, pero dahil hindi na qualified dependent yung anak, more than 18-year-old, nag-apply na rin ng student visa yung panganay. Tapos yung mga kapatid niya is dependent pa ng mother niya. So walang problema po doon. Alright. Question from Miss Angelica. Kapag Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program po ang pathway, gaano po katagal ang process at how much po kaya ang aabutin? Alright. So sa Provincial Nominee Program, una, kailangan yung occupation po ninyo, yung work experience kasama sa in-demand occupation sa Manitoba. Kung hindi po, kahit may kamag-anak kayo sa Canada, hindi kayo magko-qualified po doon. Right? And then, yung tanong po ninyo na gaano katagal, ranking system din po kasi yung first stage sa Manitoba. So, hindi natin matitiyak kung kailan ka masiselect. Pero upon selection, give it 8 months and then another 6 to 12 months. I would say mga 1.5 year upon selection doon sa Manitoba. Pero ang indefinite doon is kung kailan ka masiselect. So, parang express entry rig kasi siya doon sa Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program. Ranking system din siya. So mag-start lang yung processing time na sinasabi kong 1.5 year kapag naselect ka from the Manitoba pool. Alright? Kung magkano po yung aabutin, again, sign up lang po kayo doon sa link na nandiyan sa screen. Nandoon po lahat ng cost. Paano po ulit ang express entry? Kapag express entry po, pwede po dalhin ng spouse? Yeah, apa, Miss April, ang express entry po ay immigration program. So pwede niyo pong isabay ang buong family, spouse and kids. Question from Miss Christine. Follow-up question for student permit. If may kasama po ng mga anak, what if yung anak po is mag-grade 12 na? Magiging kaso po ba ito sa approval ng student permit? Depende po dun sa timing. Kung hindi pa siya graduate, pwede niyo po siyang isama. Kaya lang, ang magiging situation nito is that pagdating doon sa Canada, let's say umulit siya ng grade 12, pagka-graduate niya ng grade 12, kailangan niyang mag-aral ng, kailangan niya mag-apply ng study permit na katulad po ng application po niya. Pero as long as hindi pa po siya graduate, pwede pa siyang kasama as dependent. Most cases po na yun, graduate ng grade 12, ang nagiging decision ng mga parents diyan, inia-apply na nila ng separate application yung kanilang anak. May mga ganyang cases na po in the past. Pero kung grade 11 po, then walang magiging problema po doon. Follow-up question, yung student visa po ba sa temporary resident visa, pwede po ba na 1 year lang ang kuhanin na course? Miss Ruth, yeah. Ang minimum requirement actually is 8 months to be technical about it. No? Ang minimum requirement allowed is 8 months. Yung 8 months, basically 1 year curriculum yan. Kung ang goal mo is maging permanent resident, depende po dun sa profile po ninyo. No? Pwede kang maging permanent resident kahit 1 year lang yung program. For example, you're going there, may asawa ka, tapos yung asawa mo may sigurado ng employer at qualified doon siya sa PR, so hindi mo kailangan mag-aral ng 2 years. But if you are single, pupunta ka doon, medyo mahirap maging permanent resident kung 1 year lang yung program mo. Kasi kung 1 year lang yung program mo, meron ka lang 1 year na open work permit. So, what are the chances na after graduation ay makapagtrabaho ka agad para makakuha ka ng 1 year na Canadian work experience? So, yun yung delikado doon. Maliban na nga lang kung mag-aaral ka sa Alberta, na 6 months na work experience lang, pwede ka nang mag-qualify for permanent resident. No? Kaya lang, depende pa rin kung anong trabaho yon. So, to be safe about it, I would highly recommend that you go for the 2-year program. You have more questions? We still have 1 hour. Kung may mga questions pa po kayo. Wala na pong mga questions? Naubos na? Alright, so, okay, habang nag-iisip po kayo ng ibang mga tanong, again, let me just emphasize this. Yung link pong yan, kung gusto nyong makuha yung mga cost, nandiyan dyan po yung, details. No? Sign up the form, and then makikita nyo po, matatanggap nyo via email yung mga requirements. Alright, question from Muhammad Al-Hariri. Ang co-op program, mababayaran ka talaga as an employee? Usually, ang co-op program po is paid. No? So, yeah, salaried po kayo dito. Yung co-op program. Usually, no? Mayroong mga co-op kasi na short lang. May mga co-op na hindi paid. No? Pero most often than not, it's a paid internship. So, paid yung co-op. Merong mga program nga po, yung mga private colleges na 2-year program, 12 months kang mag-aaral, tapos 12 months kang co-op. Yung 12 months na co-op na yon, you are actually a full-time employee. Right? So, pag co-op, usually paid po yan. Question from Mr. Ibe, gaano katagal yung LOA? Depende sa school. Kung Fanshawe College po yan, 1 day lang upon submission, kadalasan may letter of acceptance na. Pero general speaking, nagre-range yan mga 2 to 6 weeks. 2 to 6 weeks yung processing ng letter of acceptance. Pero may mga schools na mabilis, gaya nga ng Fanshawe College. Within the day, after a day, meron ka ng letter of acceptance. Question from Miss Angelica. If ever may job offer po, may chance ba for PR? Guaranteed po ba? Need pa rin po ba ng IELTS? Okay, medyo maraming tanong pero isa-isahin natin. IELTS. Lahat ng PR program may IELTS requirement. Hindi ka magiging PR kung hindi ka mag-IELTS. Alright? Pag may job offer, guaranteed ba na PR? Hindi rin. No? There's nothing na pwede natin sabihin guaranteed. No? Malaki yung chance mo na mag-qualified, pero depende yan doon sa tama ba yung program. Kasi maraming factors. May job offer ka, tama ba yung program na a-applyan mo? May job offer ka, na-meet mo ba yung requirements? May job offer ka, qualified ka ba sa position na yon? So maraming factors. So, hindi siya guaranteed. Pero kung i-hire nyo kami, mag-guide namin kayo properly. In fact, ang common experience namin dyan is that nandoon sa Canada, tatawag, makikipag-set ng appointment. Sir, may job offer na ganito. Pwede ko ba itong tanggapin? Magiging PR ba ako nito? So, tinatanong muna nila. No? Pero, common na advice namin is, kuha ka muna ng experience. No? Pag may experience ka na, madali na yan. No? But yes, pwede yung mga clients namin, kahit nasa Canada na we continue to monitor and assist them, kadalasan nga nagtatanong sila kung makakatulong ba itong trabaho na to bago nila tanggapin. So, hindi siya guaranteed. Follow-up question from Ms. Ruth. Ang common law partner ko po ay may relative sa Manitoba and mas mahaba po ang work experience niya. I'm a nurse by profession, then yung partner ko po is pharmacist. So, pwede po ba ang 1 year? Kung sa Manitoba po kayo papasok, yes. Possible po. Kung mag-aaral po kayo sa Manitoba, at yan yung profile po ninyo, yes, kahit 1-year program lang po. But again, to be on the safe side, pwede pong gawin yan 2 years. Mas maganda, better yung 2 years. Yung iba ang ginagawa, kumukuha ng 2 1-year program. So, unahin muna yung 1 year, tapos kapag naging PR sila, or malinaw na yung PR, hindi na tinutuloy yung second program. Alright? So, nasa sa inyo po yan. Pero, pwede ka bang ma-approve sa 1-year visa? Yeah, 1-year na program, pwede po. Pwede ka bang maging PR? Yes. Yun nga lang, syempre, mas may flexibility kayo kung meron kayong 3 years na post-graduation work permit. Kasi yung sinasabi ko po na pwede kayong maging PR, hindi naman guaranteed yun. Depende yun sa maraming factors. So if you will ask me, which is better, 1 year or 2 year? Definitely 2 years po. Alright, so question from Muhammad Al-Hariri. 2 questions. Pwede po ba ako mag-take ng part-time job habang may co-op? Yeah, basta ma-meet niyo po yung 40 hours. Yeah, pwede po. Pwede po ba mag-master's degree after ko matapos ng diploma program? Pwede mag-take ng master degree. Alright. Kung tapos ka na ng bachelor degree dito at gusto mong kumuha ng MBA program, then may school na pwede mong pasukan sa Vancouver, yung University Canada West. Pwede ka nang dumiretso sa master's degree. Ngayon, kung grade 12 graduate ka, tapos kukuha ka ng 2-year diploma sa Canada, pwede ka na bang lumipat, magdugtong ng master's degree? Hindi. So, ang requirement kasi doon is may bachelor degree ka na para makakuha ka ng master's. Ngayon, again, kung bachelor degree graduate ka na dito sa Pilipinas, huwag ka nang kumuha ng 2-year diploma sa Canada. Pwede ka nang dumiretso sa MBA program. Ang MBA program ng University Canada West, yung total for 2 years after deducting yung grants na 10,000 Canadian dollars for Southeast Asia students, 25,000 Canadian dollars yung total for 2 years. Mr. Mohammed, kung hindi malinaw yung sagot ko, pwede mo magdugtungan ng follow-up question. Question from Ms. Angelica. For student visa, need pa din po ba ng spouse mag-IELTS? Hindi po. Hindi required ang IELTS sa spouse. Pero kung yung spouse ay mag-a-apply ng PR, kailangan po yung IELTS. Question from Ms. April. Do you have partner schools po sa Toronto for study visa? We have over 300 partner schools across Canada. So, hindi po problem. And again, hindi necessary na partner po namin yung school na pag-aaralan po ninyo. Tatanungin namin kayo saan nyo gusto, may specific school ba kayo, saang city, saang province, then hahanapan namin kayo ng mga options for you to choose from. So, hindi kailangang partner school po namin. But yes, we have several schools na nasa Toronto. We have over 300 partner schools across Canada. Pero meron lang kami mga piling-piling school which we highly recommend na nandoon siya sa website po namin. Visit gatewaytocanada.com. Click nyo po yung isa sa mga menu. May tab po doon na schools, yung name. Nandoon po yung mga highly recommended schools po namin across Canada. More questions? This is a very good question from Miss Beatrice. Paano kung po malalaman ang course na pwede kong kunin sa isang school? Alright, ang decision kung anong yung course, para hindi tayo malito, no? Sa Canada kasi, pag sinabi nating course, yun yung subject dito sa Philippines. No? Yung tinatawag nating course dito sa Philippines, ang tawag niya sa Canada program. So, pag kumuha na isang program, may mga courses na nasa ilalim yan. Yung courses, yan yung subject. Alright? So, ang question mo, I suppose, is about program. Alright? So, paano mo malalaman kung ano yung program na kukunin mo sa school? Actually, you will decide kung ano yung program na gusto mong kunin. Walang rule na kapag ganito yung profile mo, dapat ganito lang yung programs na kukunin mo. Basically, kahit anong program pwede mong kunin. Ang mahalaga, kaya mo siyang i-justify. And yung justification, you should be able to answer yung question like this. How will this program help you career-wise pagbalik nyo sa Pilipinas? So dapat ganun yung orientation. Alright? Mako-confuse kayo. Bakit pagbalik sa Pilipinas ay magmamigrate ka nga? I understand that. Ang student visa is a temporary resident visa. Ang rule of thumb, para ma-approve yung temporary resident visa mo, kailangan ma-convince mo yung visa officer of your intention to go back sa home country mo. So, kung mag-aaral ka sa Canada, dapat ang explanation mo, nag-aaral ka dahil ito yung career plan ko pagbalik ko sa home country. Kaya lang, syempre, lahat naman, actually sa experience namin na nag-aaral sa Canada is gustong mag-apply ng permanent residence. Walang question about it. Allowed naman yung dual intent. Right? Meaning, nag-aaral ka dahil sa career plan mo, pero with hope na kung pwede kang maging permanent resident, mag-a-apply ka rin. Pwede. Pero, hindi mo para i-flaunt yung goal mo na magmamigrate. So, kapag magbibigay ka ng justification bakit ito yung program na kukunin mo, ang i-explain mo dyan, halimbawa, nag-aaral ka ngayon as clerk, no? Nagtatrabaho ka ngayon, bachelor degree graduate ka as clerk, nagtatrabaho ka as clerk or as supervisor, kukuha ka ngayon ng MBA program kasi ang kwento mo, dapat gusto mong magkaroon ng management role. And para ma-equip ka doon sa position na yon, i-upgrade ka ng credentials. Kaya ka mag-aaral sa Canada. Para pagbalik mo ng Pilipinas, qualified ka na for management roles because of the credentials and the experience that you will gain in Canada. So that is how you will present it. So hindi ibig sabihin na nurse ka, dapat nursing-related programs lang yung kukunin mo. Case in point, meron akong client, medical technologist. Ang experience niya, of course, sa laboratory. Okay? Pero, malapit na siyang gumraduate sa Vancouver, ang pinapag-aralan niya ngayon is hospitality and tourism management. So, two poles apart yun. From medtech to hospitality, tourism management. Paano niya na-justify yun? Ginaguide namin yung client. Sabi namin dun sa letter is that, in the first place, hindi ko gustong maging medtech. Kinuha ko lang itong profession na to dahil ito yung gusto ng parents ko who are both physicians. But what I really wanted to do is i-manage yung business namin. Meron silang resort. So kaya siya kumuha ng hospitality and tourism management. Yun yung kwento niya. Pero ang totoo, yun yung kinuha niya kasi employability doon sa Canada. Right? So, doon sa tanong mo na paano ko malalaman ang course or program na pwede kong kunin, ang sagot dyan is, ano ba yung gusto mong kunin na kaya mong i-justify? Right? So, meron akong client, to give you additional example, accountant. Ang kinuha niya is early childhood education. Paano niya na-justify yun? Sabi niya, since nung bata pa siya, mahilig siyang nung nag-aaral pa siya, mahilig siyang mag-alaga ng mga bata, nagbo-volunteer siya sa mga Sunday schools, mga daycare centers. So kumuha siya ng early childhood education dahil gusto niyang magtayo ng kanyang daycare center sa Pilipinas. Pero ang totoo, kaya niya gustong kunin yun dahil may daycare center yung kanyang uncle doon sa Canada. So, para doon siya magtrabaho. So, kailangan may justification. I hope I was able to answer that question, Ms. Beatrice. Pero kung hindi pa rin siya malinaw, please make a follow-up question. Question from Ms. Christine. How po kaya ma-justify sa letter na babalik kami sa Pilipinas after makagraduate? Ikaw kasama po yung mga anak. Actually, that's a tricky ano nga po talaga, no? Maraming paraan kasi, no? Karamihan po ng may mga family kasama naman yung anak at na-approve naman yung application. Katulad nung example ko kanina, si Miss Dana, no? Parehas pa silang registered nurse, may kasama silang anak. Now, ang evaluation ng visa officer doon sa ties mo, doon sa home country, maraming factors na kinukonsider. May mga travel history ka na ba? So, pwede mong i-highlight na, i-guide namin kayo dito, no? This is basically part of what you will, part of the services that we will provide you kapag kahinar niyo po yung services po namin. But just to give you an idea, paano ma-justify, pwede niyong laruin yung angulo ng travel history niyo. Nakapag-travel na ako sa ibang bansa, nirespect ko naman yung conditions of my stay, bumalik ako dito. Right? So, gainfully employed ako dito. Gusto ko lang talagang mag-aral para umangat yung career. No? May mga assets ako dito, may mga properties, etc. No? So, hindi siya dapat maging problem. But we will guide you. Like I said, meron kaming mga specialist po who will help you come up with an acceptable na personal study plan where you will be able to justify po yung program and yung ties. All right? Interesting questions. Keep them coming. Kung may mga questions pa po, we still have 30 minutes. Kung game pa po kayong magtanong, game pa rin po akong sumagot. If after this may mga follow-up questions po kayo, book an appointment sa mga assigned case managers po ninyo para masagot po yung mga questions. Kung ang question naman is paano mag-start ng application, nandiyan dyan po yung link sa screen. Sign up lang po kayo dyan, matatanggap nyo po yung mga details. Alright, follow-up question. Gusto ko makita ang list ng programs sa school. So, paano po? Okay, so punta po kayo sa gatewaytocanada.com. Kung nandoon po yung school na gusto po ninyo, may mga recommended programs po kayo. Kung wala po dyan sa list yung mga program na gusto nyo, nandiyan dyan po yung mga websites nila. And then, check nyo lang po yung mga programs. Pero to make this easy po kasi, ang ginagawa namin, tatanungin namin kayo, ano bang field yung gusto mo? Alright? Anong level? Postgraduate ba? Diploma? MBA? Masters? Etc. And then from there, we will do the searching for you. Tapos papadalhan namin kayo ng mga options. Pipili na lang kayo. Pag nakapili na kayo, then ipadala nyo sa amin yung admission requirements. Kami na yung mag-a-apply niyan sa school. We have direct line dun sa mga school. So mas nagiging smooth yung process. But kung ang question, ano yung list? Then maraming paraan. Pwede kayong pumunta kasi sa canada.ca, search nyo DLI. So makikita nyo po doon yung mga list ng mga schools. Pag may list na kayo doon ng schools, search nyo po yung website nila and then nandoon yung mga programs. Sa gatewaytocanada.com, meron kaming list ng mga schools dyan. Nandiyan na rin po yung mga recommended programs. Let me share my screen po para mas maintindihan po ninyo. Right? Where am I? Okay, so stop ko lang po yung pag-share. Tapos share ko po yung aking screen. Alright, so bago po yung isang tanong, no? Alright, so dito lang po, nakikita niyo po yung screen. Ito yung website po namin. Nandito lang sa schools. Alright? So these are our schools, mga partner schools po namin yan. We have more than this, no? Kaya lang, ito yung mga highly recommended po namin. Ang admission officer po namin, si Miss Christina Baez, actually is a Canada Course for Education Agents graduate, no? So registered po siya. So you should feel comfortable na you are guided properly ng somebody na alam yung ginagawa niya. For example, punta kayo halimbawa dito sa Fanshawe College. Alright? So, makikita nyo dito, wala siyang, through us, wala kayong babayarang admission fee, waive yan. Pero kung mag-a-apply kayo directly, may bayad. IELTS is waive. May mga scholarship grants din. Ang annual tuition is 16,000. Alright? Nandito yung website nila. Pwede nyo ilang puntahan. Then, these are the suggested programs. Alright? So, makikita nyo po siya dyan. Right? So, pakitaan ko po kayo ng merong program na hindi pa po kasi updated. Pero para makita nyo lang yung summary, eventually makikita nyo po yung mga programs. We try to summarize dito yung mga recommended programs namin. So, nandiyan dyan na yung mga details. School, post-secondary, September, IELTS is waived. This program includes an optional co-placement. Okay, so ito yung mga career opportunities, 1-year tuition, 16,000. Alright? So nandiyan dyan po siya. Right? Alright, so moving on doon sa mga questions pa po. Okay. So itong program, okay na po ito. Monthly po ba ang pag-select ng Manitoba Supposedly monthly, opo. Pero, yeah, na ano po, may mga months lang na hindi sila nagsiselect. Pero, depende kasi yan dun sa decision nila, kung dun sa needs nila ng more immigrants dun sa Manitoba. Pero there was a time na halos monthly nagdo-draw sila. Merong mga months lang na hindi sila nag-draw. Pero yeah, we cannot say na monthly yung draw. Unlike sa express entry, twice a month pa sila minsan mag-draw. Alright po, Miss Angelica. Alright, so may mga questions pa po ba? Kung may mga questions pa po kayo, we still have some 40 minutes, 20 minutes. 25 minutes. If after this po may mga questions po kayo na gusto nyong itanong sa mga assigned case manager po ninyo, click nyo lang po itong book an appointment. Tapos pwede kayong mag-set ng call appointment with your assigned case manager. Again, dun sa nagtatanong po ng schools, nandito po yung mga list ng mga Gateway to Canada endorsed schools. Makikita niyo po sila. Pansio is very popular sa Ontario. Sa London, Ontario ito. Kapag express entry po ba, makakapag-work both full-time, ako and si spouse if ever? Yeah. Kapag na-approve po kayo sa express entry, considered na po kayong permanent resident. Ang kaibahan nyo lang sa Canadian citizen, wala kayong Canadian passport. Alright? So, yun po yung alright. Alright, so alin po yung tab na makikita yung fees? Alright, let me show you po. Okay. Nandito po kasi siya. Okay. Alright, so ito po yung link kanina. Kung gusto niyo pong makita yung mga fees, select niyo po sino po yung assigned case manager po ninyo. Tapos fill in basic information. Pipili lang po kayo dito ng type of contract service. Student visa only or student visa with PR. Or kung gusto niyo po sa express entry or provincial nominee, ito po yan. Kung ano yung piliin niyo po dito, yun yung matatanggap niyo pong schedule ng mga expenses. Pero again, wag po kayo mag-a-apply ng express entry or hindi ito yung pipiliin ninyo kung hindi namin in-assess na qualified po kayo dyan. So before you do that, makipag-appointment po kayo doon sa inyong assigned case manager para i-finalize po yung program na applicable po sa inyo. Meron po kaming question from Miss April, no? Depende po kasi. Meron kaming, I think, pinaka-bata yata, 3 months old pa lang yata. Wala pang 3 months yung baby nila. As in, kapapanganak lang nung umalis sila. Student visa rin, no? So, wala namang problem. Ang mahalaga lang is that mapagplanuhan po ninyo. Like for example, pagdating niyo sa Canada, meron ba kayo dong mga kamag-anak or kaibigan na pwedeng mag-support man lang sa inyo? Kasi kung halimbawa, merong baby, paano makakapagtrabaho yung isa? So, nasa scheduling. May mga ganyan, no? Nasa scheduling niyo po yan, no? Kasi syempre, full-time kang mag-aaral, halos 20 to 25 hours a week nandoon ka sa school. So kung tatlo kayo halimbawa, may baby, yung spouse mo may iwan sa bahay, so hindi siya makakapagtrabaho. Makakapagtrabaho lang siya pagbalik mo ng bahay. And by that time, marami kang homework, etc. So, I don't know, nasa time management po ninyo. Pero as long as you have a plan for it, yung isa, meron kaming client na ganyan, ang ginawa naman, nag-hire sila ng nanny. Pero marami naman kasi sila pera, so hindi siya problema talaga. Meron kaming ganyan, Egyptian yung husband, yung babae. It's funny because when I visited Cape Breton University, nakita ko yung student, kasama yung anak niya, kasama yung nanny. No? Yung nanny niya, white. No? So, sinama niya sa school yung anak niya, pero kasama niya naman yung nanny ng anak niya. No? So, as long as you have plan kung paano nyo i-address yung mga ganong concerns, hindi naman siya problem. Pero if you'll ask me po, kung meron kayong mapapag-iwanan po dito, i-apply nyo po ng buo. Kasama na siya sa visa. Tapos, pwede nyo iwanan muna. Tapos, sunduin nyo siya sa Philippines kapag nakapag-settle na po kayo. No? Na-figure out nyo na kung paano siya i-address yung ganong concern. Pero kung doon nga, may kamag-anak kayo na tutuluyan, na willing namang mag-offer ng help, then hindi siya problem. Alright, Ms. April? More questions? You can also, one way of doing also your due diligence is by reading yung mga reviews sa amin sa Facebook. You can communicate with them actually. Most of them are actually responsive. No? Pwede na kayong sagutin doon sa mga questions po ninyo. You can ask them. Visit our Facebook page. Nandoon po yung mga reviews po sa amin. Makikita niyo po siya. So, nandiyan lang naman po yung mga feedbacks. Alright. So, may mga questions pa po ba? Meron po tayong 15 minutes. I-maximize po natin. Baka may mga questions pa po kaya. This is the example kanina, si Miss Dana May Rodriguez. Napaka-responsive niya. Pwede niyo siyang i-contact yan. Ask them about their experience with us, their experience in Canada. So, yeah, makakatulong po yun doon sa pag-decide. Yeah, more questions? Kung wala na po, then i-wrap up na po natin ito. Then mag-set na po tayo ng... again, lastly, no, reminder. Every year, nag-i-increase po kami ng consultancy fee. Okay, hindi ko alam kung nakatanggap kayo ng notification about it, but we will send another announcement. Every January, nag-i-increase po yung consultancy fee po namin. So kung gusto niyo pong ma-lock in doon sa lower rate, you have to sign up before the end of December po, no? Para ma-lock in po kayo doon sa old rate, right? So usually ang down payment po sa consultancy fee namin is $1,200 US, something like mga 60,000. Now para lang ma-lock in po kayo doon sa old rate, kung gusto niyo pong mag-start ng application na kagad, we will accept po a minimum of $500 deposit po. I mean, para mag-sign up po kayo at ma-lock in doon sa old rate. So that is an option that you may want to consider. Okay? So mukhang wala na pong question, na sagot na po lahat. Just in case may mga follow-up questions po kayo, click nyo lang po itong book an appointment. This is the website po, no? So makikita nyo po dito yung ano. Online lang po para ano, online visa inquiry. Ito po yan. So pili lang po kayo kung sino yung naka-assign po sa inyo na case manager, and then kung kailan yung availability, makikita nyo naman po yan dyan. So para at least masagot po. Kung mag-start po kayo ng application, yung consultancy fee payment, pwede nyo po siyang gawin online using credit card or bank transfer or over-the-counter deposit sa BPI or Banco de Oro account po namin. Alright? So, okay. So, thanks for those questions. I can see the interest, no? Pero lagi ko pong sinasabi actually ito, no? Dreaming of a quality life is one thing. But doing something to make it happen is another. There's a huge difference there, no? So, if your goal is to give your family a quality life, all you need to do is really decide. So, this is a plan that worked for thousands of our clients. This could work for you too, no? If at this point, wala pa po kayong plan kung paano nyo ma-address yung safety nets, yung quality life, you may want to consider this. Alright? So that being said, I hope yung pag-attend nyo po sa webinar ngayon would make a difference dun sa magiging future decisions po ninyo. Alright? Thank you very much po. Ingat po tayong lahat. Bye!